So I'm going to begin, Guy, I mean, just by asking firstly what it was that kind of initially attracted you to getting involved in this project. Because I mean, obviously signing on to a filmmaker's first project, you don't have that kind of wealth of material necessarily to go on. So what was it about this role and this story that made you want to get involved?
Well, it was the nature of the story itself, which is the whole sort of question and the precariousness of emotions and our feelings and how we function in the world with emotions, with our feelings, etc. And that in this modern world, it's so very easy for us to avoid our feelings and avoid who we are in that regard, that we look a lot more at our external sort of portrait rather than who we are internally. And I think the film as an idea looks at that. I mean, separate from the fact that it's about a guy who goes and investigates a missing girl. I think one of the themes is just the whole question of identity and again, how we deal with this very precarious but powerful quality in us, which is our own emotional state. So, that in the script was really what drew me to it. And then talking to Andrew, who's absolutely delightful, he just had a really great sort of take on it, and I can't remember his words per se, but he really, I was just really taken by the script, and everything that he said about it really made sense to me. So it just felt automatic to kind of go and work together,
Yeah, because over the course of your career, obviously you've worked with some really hugely experienced filmmakers, and then some people that are doing it for the first time. Is it a bit tougher? Is there more of a sense of a gamble attached when you do sign on to a filmmaker's first movie? Because you haven't got that kind of just a sense of the tonality of their previous projects and stuff to go on. And do you quite
I mean, I suppose it can be, but at the same time, if you have good conversations with people, then that's all it takes as far as I'm concerned. If you have good communication and you get a sense that, even though it's the first time they've directed something, and for a lot of people, it's not really the first time they've directed something. They've been on set either making commercials or they've made music videos or they've shot short films or whatever. So as long as it feels like what I'm trying to set out to make and what they're trying to set out to make can meld together, then it doesn't really matter if someone's made 100 films or if they've made no films, and to be honest, the more experienced I am, the more I feel I'm able to help if there's any help required, So of course it's wonderful when you go and work with someone like Ridley Scott or, Catherine Bigelow or people who've had lots and lots of experience, that's great. But to me, it is about the script and it's about the story and it's about what you're trying to make and the character you're trying to play. So I tend not to look at anything as a gamble per se anyway. It's just a gamble to me as to whether I can play a believable character. That's the gamble. That's my own personal sort of gamble,
So yesterday I spoke to Matilda, who was lovely, and she spoke about her research into this, and she really delved into the world of kind of AI technology and androids and stuff like that. Did you do anything similar, and just as a kind of as an actor, are you someone that likes getting really into the kind of research thing of discovering the world that you're inhabiting, or are you very much of what's on the page and what the character kind of knows?
It sort of depends, it sort of depends. I mean, if I'll always tap into something. I'll always start investigating and looking and, seeing what's out there and reading what I can. But there sort of comes a point where I go, that's one thing and that's all fascinating and but is it actually helping? Is it going to help my performance? Is it really going to help the performance? And does that just become homework that sort of gets in the way? Because, really, I suppose the biggest driving force for me as to whether or not I'm going to play a convincing character is the response that I have when I first read the thing. If I have to go and do a whole lot of investigating and a whole lot of homework and a whole lot of stuff in order to feel the world and believe the world and be moved by the world, then there's a problem with the script, I reckon. If I read the script and go, oh my God, I can completely see it, then I'm in. And then if I go and do some research just to kind of, you know, be sure about a couple of things or enhance a couple of things or just purely out of interest, then that's great. But as I say, there comes a point where it can also bog me down. You know, I just don't have the brain capacity to absorb all of the history as well as the history that we're kind of presenting in the film. You know,
I think there is such thing as over preparing. I think probably for some roles and some projects.
Well, I have. It's funny because when I did LA Confidential, I had the book, of course, the original book by James Ellroy, which covers an 8-year period. You know, and it was my first American film, and I really felt like the thing that I should be doing. I felt the thing that I should be doing is learning and memorizing every moment of every page of that book. You know, that I felt like that's what I am meant to be doing. And in the end, it just exhausted the shit out of me. And in reality, what was wonderful about that book was that it gave me a sense of the feeling of that world, which the script did anyway. But the book, you know, it elaborated on it because our film is only that Christmas of 52, 53 or 53, 54, I can't remember exactly, but the book is 8 years. So the book gave me a whole lot of additional stuff, but I didn't have to sort of feel like I was doing an exam at school where I had to learn everything about it in order to do a convincing performance, you know?
Yeah, I mean, just before we get back onto your latest work, since you mentioned LA Confidential, that's 25 years old next year, which is incredible. I mean, I think it's come back recently on another streaming platform because I know a lot of people have been seeing it again for the first time, and it's such or revisiting it, and it is one of those most incredible kind of modern classics. Now there's been this kind of distance with 25 years. Are you able to watch it back now and think, yeah, that is a classic, or is it still a bit too hard to feel that way when you are so involved in the creating of it?
I was able to look at it the moment I saw it and went, "This is a classic."
Yeah.
I'm really able to be objective about the work that I do and the work that I'm in. I've done it for years, and I'm sure I can be a bit wrong sometimes, but I feel like I'm able to look at any of the films that I do and go, yeah, that doesn't quite work as it should. Or I can look at something and go, wow, that is amazing. No question about it. So, I mean, I'm incredibly not defensive, but that film to me, it unfortunately, it was an unfortunate thing that Titanic just happened to have been made in the same year, because it sort of swept the pool, because of the technology, etc., and people were sort of moved by the story. But I think we all know which is the more classic film.
Yeah, I think we do. Talking of that objectivity, you've directed for the first time, obviously recently, your first sort of feature film. Are you able to watch that?
I haven't yet. I haven't. I was meant to. Okay. Yeah, I was meant to, and COVID put a stop to all that. Okay. So unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Oh, I see. Well, will it happen? Is there still? Do you reckon it will still sort of be made?
I don't know. I mean, the tricky thing now, my little boy is 5 now, so he's now started school here in Europe. And so the idea of actually getting back to Australia for a big sort of 10 or 12 month chunk in order to do pre-production, shooting and post-production just looks harder and harder all the time anyway. And I think that last year probably was our last chance to really be able to do that. We would possibly look at the idea of moving the film over here. The story is relatively universal, so it could be moved, so that I could shoot the film, say, in the UK or here in Holland or wherever, but also at least do the post-production here. I'd still love to do it because it's a divine story, and Matt, my friend who wrote it, has done a wonderful job, and I'm really connected to it. So hopefully it does happen. I'm just not sure that really Australia is the place for it anymore because, as I say, because my son is now attached to school here in Europe.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed that will maybe one day still sort of be revisited. But talking when I was speaking to Matilda yesterday, because obviously we got onto the subject of kind of artificial intelligence and technology and stuff. And I was interested to know about your thoughts on kind of, are you as a celebrity, as someone who's in the public eye, the advances made in technology, particularly this deep fake technology, where, you know, you can see these videos of like people that it looks like Tom Cruise is talking, but it's not Tom Cruise. Does that frighten you at all, knowing just how believable it's getting, you know, as someone who is famous, who could effectively be the victim of deep fake technologies? Because I mean, no one would bother to be me, but I mean, is this something that, you know, celebrities or actors in Hollywood are a little bit cautious about?
I think so. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know what I think about it. I mean, I kind of, there's a big part of me that thinks, it's such a shame. You know, it's a little bit like all music only now being listened to as MP3s rather than people going out and watching bands, you know. So I have the similar sort of reaction, and hopefully it's the kind of thing that comes back around where people in the end go, that's fantastic what you can do technologically, but I'd actually rather just go and see an actor on stage and really see them for what they're doing, and actually give me an actor on film that I know hasn't been adjusted, you know. I mean, it's a bit the same as you look at any photo online now that's amazing. Like someone takes some incredible photo of a whale jumping out of the ocean, and everybody's reaction immediately is, oh, well, it's obviously been Photoshopped. That's not obviously real. So that's just sad to me. It's really, really sad. As far as being sort of scared about whether that kind of AI technology will either like take jobs away, etc., or whatever, I don't know. I mean, I probably will be if I actually see it start to sort of come to fruition. I keep making jokes though about there being like an Academy app where you can actually take a performance and put the Academy app over the top of it and improve it so that you can then win an Academy Award. I think there's got to be that, you know, pop the Academy app on that and he's in with a chance, I reckon. So, you know,
so the
Golden Globe app.
Yeah, the Golden Globe. Yeah. Well, I've only got time for one more question, unfortunately. But just because I keep referring this interview I did yesterday. But Matilda also said that she kept one of her wigs as like a kind of bit of memorabilia from her experience. I just wondered if you took anything from this project, and then just as a rule of thumb, are you someone that likes to collect items or bits of, like, you know, little souvenirs from your projects across the years?
Firstly, which color did she keep? Did she keep the purple one or the blue one? Did she say?
I didn't actually ask. Damn it!
I'll have to text her and ask her. I do like to keep something from films. I mean, I tend to write all over my scripts, and I sort of stick things all over my folders when I'm working, so that my folder and my script becomes the main thing. But, you know, Chris Nolan gave me a fold-out Polaroid camera, which is the one, not the actual one I used in the film. I'm sure he kept that, but a one that's exactly the same. And I have, you know, collected a couple of things along the way. I don't like to keep clothes. You know, I don't like to keep costumes and clothes. That always just feels little bit weird. The idea of sort of wearing them again feels really wrong to me. So I couldn't ever do that. But if there's sort of a watch or, you know, some sort of prop that a character had that's important, then yeah, I do like to do that. You know, I'm super nostalgic. So, you know, I kind of love the idea of having memorabilia. Yeah.
I bet Chris Nolan's house is probably like a museum if he collects some of this stuff from his.
Imagine, yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for your time today, guys. It's been a real pleasure speaking to you. And yeah, and if you do get your directorial debut off the ground, best of luck with all of it in the future.
Thank you. Thanks, Stefan. Great. I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey, you guys!